We are in year number 4 of actually having sheep on the property. Now this is year number 2 for me as a sheep farmer. I bought the flock from my parents, and I can't give them enough credit for climbing those first 2 years. The first 2 years are gonna be really hard. There's gonna be a lot of learning, especially if you are a true first-time farmer and have never owned any significant 4-footed livestock before. Today's project, I am actually cleaning out the lambing shed for weaning. We are getting ready to wean half of the lambs that were born last March, and this shed has not really been occupied or cleaned out since the moms were in here actually having their lambs. In fact, if you're a beginner in livestock and you're looking towards self-sufficiency, growing some meat for your family, I would 100% recommend buying a couple beef steer over sheep as a first-timer. With sheep, they present me an incredible business opportunity on 23 acres, and the market demand and price for sheep right now is going absolutely through the roof. But I want to be really clear that I did not choose sheep because I thought they were an easier option. Sheep have a much lower margin for error than other farm animals, meaning they can appear totally fine one day and die the next. And when they die mostly of worms, especially in a pasture-based system. And so losses can happen very quickly, very suddenly, and they can really knock you off your feet. And the losses that do happen are usually indicative of a problem that is affecting other sheep in your flock as well. So once you see a problem in one sheep, you need to check your whole flock for that problem. So I watched this for 2 years, and I said I am never, ever going to farm sheep. Then 2020 hit, then quarantine hit, then our food system started to fall apart, and I realized that my parents had the right idea in moving to the country and investing in farm animals. At that point in time, I engaged in the farm vision, discovered the principles of rotational grazing, and began implementing them on the sheep flock that I now own today. And as I worked with the sheep and saw their improvement and realized that this pasture management was vital to their overall well-being, I also realized that no one in my family really had the desire, or to be realistic, the time to invest in the pasture management required to maintain this flock. And for me personally, I knew that I couldn't continue to invest these hours and hours a week on a hobbyist level. For me personally, I needed to pivot it into some type of income opportunity for myself. So I went to my parents and I said, I want to buy this flock. They sold me the flock, and I covered the cost of the perimeter fencing they had just installed for sheep, and I hit the ground running with my sheep for profit micro ranch. At this point in the game, I'm not making a whole lot of money off of what I'm doing as far as the sheep go. I'm still growing my flock, so I'm keeping all of the ewes. I don't have any of those to sell quite yet, but I'm actually starting to generate a little bit of revenue through selling some of the excess rams from my lambing seasons. The first year, my livestock sales amounted to about $2,400. Second year, it's about $4,000. My goal by year 5 to have the business floating on its own, meaning all expenses are paid for by revenues from the sheep farm. And by year number 7, which is 2027, it's my goal to start putting money back into my pocket from the sheep farm. That, and I'm putting in about 20 hours a week, whether it be through marketing, maintaining my website for the sheep, which is shepherdessdorpers.com, my Facebook, my Instagram, or whether it's boots on the ground stuff like cleaning out stalls or moving sheep across the pasture. I used junk hay for this bedding and not straw. And in that hay were seed heads for grass. And that grass seed, combined with the fertility from the animal manure and everything the sheep left behind during their stay in the shed, will go right back to pasture. I'm putting it on extremely bare parts of the pasture, areas where no grass is growing at all. This is going to provide ground cover, and as the animals move through in my rotational grazing system, their impact will drive whatever seed is in this bedding into the ground, and ideally perform a little bit of a pasture planting and put grass where there was no grass. I am weaning the lambs onto a 100% alfalfa hay, and I will also be adding a fresh layer of bedding before they come in for their 10-day stay. This 10 days will be a time period for them to adjust from mom's milk to 100% forage, and from there they will go on to their new homes. I find myself feeling like it's really important to make one of these videos at least 4 times a year for my channel. And the reason being is that I did not get into this because I thought it was going to make me a lot of money. I'm trying to be wise with the money that I have invested already. I'm trying to be wise with everything I'm doing here and think it through to the end. But ultimately, this is not a get-rich-quick endeavor for me. I've had a lot of businesses. I still have a full-time job, and I jumped into this knowing that there are a lot of other ways that I could make money. But I also jumped into this knowing that I had to do this. And in jumping into this, I said, I am going to give this everything I can, so long as the Lord provides me with the resources to move forward. I'm going to commit 7 years of my life to being a farmer, to being a shepherdess, before I make one judgment as to whether it's a success or a failure. And ultimately, the Lord will tell as to whether my operation is a success or not. But I have committed to this for a certain period of time, and that is 7 years. And by 2027, it is my goal to be farming with all assets paid off and to be putting $20,000 to $30,000 back into my pocket from the operation every year. That's my goal. And at that, I'll still need to retain some type of full-time job on the side. In fact, 80% of farmers in the United States are subsidizing their farming operation through an off-farm job of some sort or another. Now, mine is a super blessed situation because I work on a laptop and I do my digital marketing job right here from the farm. It's perfect, and it is really a blessing. I also want to touch on something that's really, or I believe that a lot of other people are experiencing in this farming arena, and that is that you hit seasons or you hit months where you feel like your back is just cracking in half. You have so much work in front of you, and you're not making a lot of money for the work that you're putting into it. And at those points in time, you want to quit. For me, it's the months of May, June, and July. And it's during those months that I really start to sit back and question who I am and what I am doing and why I'm actually doing this, because the exhaustion just starts to get at you so badly. One of the tools, and I guess one of the things I want to give a plug for, is durable trades. Buy the book at shopshepherdess.com. It would really support my work here on the farm. But I was kind of having one of those moments and just wondering if what I was doing really meant anything, or if all of the discouragements I was facing, whether related to seasons or weather or just working a lot, were ultimately meant I should quit. Does that mean I should quit because I'm discouraged or tired or don't see how I can get out of bed tomorrow and do and care for, the 75 animals that need my help? And one of the things I read was Durable Trades. And this book is basically an outline of the 63 trades that have stood the test of time. They're trades that have not crashed with the various economic issues that our nation has faced over the last 150 years. And as I opened this book, number one most durable trade on the list is the role of a shepherd. And ultimately, the shepherd is a farmer, and that's what he is, and that has been the most durable trade. Another topic this book touched really heavily on was the concept of overlapping trades. The idea of just being a full-time one thing puts you at an extremely vulnerable place. In fact, this book cites practicing multiple overlapping trades puts you in a place of resiliency, like the person who has only one job or only one skill set that they exercise does not have. And so as we approach this concept of being small farmers or farmers for profit, let's have a broader mind and a broader idea of what is profit. Are we looking to just make it as farmers, or do we see incorporating farming and small farming and the experiences that accompany it and the resiliency that it provides for us as families and our food system? Do we see the value in that in such a way that we would be willing to incorporate it on a small scale with whatever job continues to pay the bills? The likelihood is I will always be a shepherdess and a social media manager, a shepherdess and a web developer. Because for me, that provides a much wider safety net than simply being a web developer or simply being a shepherdess. And also approaching it from that angle gives you a lot more optimism. Maybe it doesn't pencil out very well to just raise, let's say, meat rabbits, period, and make a living just raising meat rabbits. But if you love meat rabbits and you love the meat that comes off of rabbits and you want to start something small, do it. You're not relying on it for your food tomorrow. And what you learn along the way is going to be absolutely worth whatever investment you put in it.